This week on Destination Earth X, we look at the great trailers that came out of San Diego Comic-Con 2017. Oh, and before I forget, everything we talk about on this show is filled with spoilers, so consider this the spoiler warning. Destination Earth X is all about spoilers, so this is your warning. Welcome to Destination Earth X. I am your host, Silky Dave Brown. Comic-Con just ended a couple weeks ago, and it was a huge big deal out of San Diego, as it is every year. And of course, we had tons and tons of trailers drop, and apparently it was an amazing experience for those who got to be there. I, of course, did not because, I'm poor and all. But YouTube, bless you for being there and letting us see all these great trailers. Now, there's a slew that came out, and obviously we can't talk about all of them in one episode, but I want to hit the big ones that I'm really, really looking forward to. The first being Justice League. I am a huge DC Comics fan. You could say, to use wrestling terms, I am a DC Comics mark. I love them. That's always been my comic of choice, has been DC, and finally getting a Justice League film is incredible. We had, the DCEU, depending on who you talk to, has been a mixed bag. Man of Steel, I think, was a fantastic movie. Batman v Superman, the Ultimate Edition, the Extended Edition, whatever the hell it's called, I think it's the Ultimate Edition, is really, really good. I actually rewatched the theatrical the other day, and I was like, God, this movie doesn't make a lick of freaking sense. But you watch the Ultimate Cut, and it's so much better. So much better. And then there's Suicide Squad, which is, enjoyable. The thing with Suicide Squad is, actually, I think the thing with a lot of these films is they have these incredible actors who I think in a lot of cases truly nail these characters, but there have been some story issues. That was the big thing with Suicide Squad. But then there came Wonder Woman, and Wonder Woman was damn near perfect in my eyes. I'll be doing an episode reviewing Wonder Woman at some point in the future, but Wonder Woman was spectacular. I teared up. It was a fantastic movie, and the whole thing with Justice League, there's been, there was like, was it going to be two films, one film, whatever, and then we had Zack Snyder stepping down due to a family emergency, which just awful what happened to him and his family, and my heart goes out to him. But stepping in, taking over the reshoots, was one Mr. Joss Whedon, who I have adored since the days of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And, if you're going to hand off your cinematic universe to anyone, you hand it to the guy who freaking wrote and directed the Avengers. Duh. It's funny, when the Avengers came out, and there was some interview, someone asked Joss Whedon, hey, what's your advice to DC about making a Justice League movie? And he said, call me. Little did we know. There have been extensive reshoots, according to reports, costing millions upon millions of dollars. But it's going to work, and I think we're going to get a better movie because of it. Zack Snyder I'm not a Zack Snyder hater. I think Watchmen is great, especially if you can watch the 4-hour version. It's a masterpiece. What else has he done? Sucker Punch. Okay, Sucker Punch didn't make a damn bit of sense, I'm not gonna lie. All of his movies are stunning to look at, but some of them make sense and some of them don't. He's a beautiful and amazing visual director, and this new trailer brings out a lot. Now, there was a trailer a few months back where it showed Batman going through and trying to collect the team together. And this one opens up with Wonder Woman busting up a bank robbery. And then it goes to Themyscira, where it shows Boom Tube opening up and Steppenwolf dropping in. We have a Boom Tube on the big screen, people. That is freaking awesome. that is some Jack Kirby nonsense, and it's going to be great. They're going all in, and the movie looks great. It's a really interesting combination. The lineup is very New 52 with Cyborg. Pretty much the only person missing is Green Lantern, but in that trailer, they allude to the fact that there are no lanterns, which I thought was really, really cool. So we've got that, and it was just fantastic. I thoroughly enjoyed this trailer, and it made me even more hyped for the movie. I can't wait for it. Next up, we have Thor Ragnarok, the third in the Thor set of films, which I have enjoyed all of them. I know some people like to poo-poo on Thor the Dark World, but I think they've been all good movies. This one looks like it's easily going to take the cake. It's this combination of the Ragnarok storyline, there's a storyline about Challenge of the Planets or something. I know I'm forgetting it. I'm not a Marvel aficionado, so forgive me. And then, hinting of a little Planet Hulk. It's a continuation of the trailer we saw a few months back, and my God, does it look good. And it ends with this image of Hulk jumping and attacking a gigantic Surtur. And Surtur looks a lot like, if you remember in the Lord of the Rings films, the Balrog. It looks kind of like that, all flamey and badass. Lots of good comedy. Chris Hemsworth has great comedic timing, especially as his Thor character, and I'm really looking forward to this. This should be a very fun film, and I can't wait. It's gonna be good. Next up, we got the TV shows.
Glad we found each other. I'm not hugging you.
Alright, first up, we've got The Defenders coming to Netflix, since we're going to stay with the Marvelness of it all. This show looks freaking fantastic, and 2 actual separate trailers dropped around Comic-Con. You had the first one, which was the Stan Lee narrated, which was great, talking about heroes and what they mean to us and that they're human and blah blah blah, and with a little Punisher reveal at the end, followed by a cool little Defenders trailer. At least the version I just watched was, and then there was the actual Defenders trailer that was played at Comic-Con. That was just kind of more of what we saw in previous trailers. Now this is the culmination of 4 series: Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist. And I think I might be the only person out there that actually has enjoyed all 4 of them. Daredevil, both season 1 and season 2, are generally beloved. Jessica Jones is also, I think, really, really looked at as something amazing. A lot of people think Luke Cage petered out after the first half of the series, and depending on who you ask, Iron Fist is either the worst thing ever made, or, if you skip the first 5 episodes, not bad. I enjoyed Iron Fist. I think if you look at it for what it is, which is a 70s kung fu flick, it's a lot of fun. I didn't mind the character of Danny Rand. I thought he was alright, and I enjoyed it. So, for me, this looks like it's going to be fantastic, and I cannot wait for it. There's something about these Netflix shows that are just really, really do it for me. With me at Marvel, I've liked basically 2 types of Marvel storylines. I like either the big cosmic events, your Infinity Gauntlet, I think is one of the greatest things Marvel ever did. And then I like the small stuff, the street level stuff, like Defenders, like Daredevil, for example. Frank Miller's Daredevil run was amazing. So those are the kind of things I like. It's the in-between world destroying stuff, like, for example, Secret Empire, which is going on right now, their big event, which has been revealed, spoilers, that Captain America has been Hydra all along. Well, I read it and I'm like, it's not bad. It's just, I know at the end of it doesn't freaking matter because nothing's going to come of anything. So that is that's something that bugs me with Marvel. But these shows have been fantastic, and I can't wait for Defenders. I can't wait for Jessica Jones Season 2, Daredevil Season 3, The Punisher. There was, in the Stan Lee, had a reveal of The Punisher, saying, good thing I'm here, and yeah, it was very cool. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with this show. It's going to only be, I think it's either 8 or 10 episodes, I think 8, so a lot of the complaints about the length of the other seasons, 13 episodes, should be taken care of. It's going to be a lot tighter storytelling, and I'm looking forward to it.
With all of the loss that we have suffered, it's important that we embrace the miracles too.
I think hardship is what makes us stronger. Where'd you come from, Barry Allen?
You took an 11-year-old boy with a broken heart and you gave him a home.
Looking back, I realized that was the night that we fell in love.
I look at you battling the darkness with honor and hope, and I'm reminded there's always another way. Always.
Whether you're stuck on another world, whether or not you have your powers, you never give in.
It's about one noble idea. That we can all stand up for what's right, no matter what.
This is a war, and I'm gonna fight it the right way, as I am all this city has.
I have no reason to be scared. The man I love is a superhero.
You do this, you are someone else.
This is who I am. If there's a cost, I'll pay it.
For whatever reason, we've been given extraordinary abilities.
You need more than a mask to take on these streets.
Being a superhero is not about kicking ass.
You have failed this city.
Just run as fast as you can. I'll try to keep up.
So next up, we've got the CW verse, all the different shows on the CW, and by God, do I love these shows. So a few days, about a week or so, 10 days or so before Comic-Con, they actually released a trailer for Black Lightning, which is part of what you just heard. And it really, I think, sums up what they are doing on CW. So most of these trailers are pretty similar. They show us a lot of what happened in the previous season, and then clips about what's going to happen in the next season. Some of it's pretty enlightening, some of it's just kind of clips of cool looking shit. And you get the feeling from The Flash they're going to try to get Barry out of the Speed Force. With Supergirl, she's just pissed and doesn't want to pretend she's human anymore. With Arrow, he's dealing with now having basically a teenage or tween kid, and Legends of Tomorrow have to deal with the ramifications of what they did to Time when they met themselves. And then you've got Black Lightning, which my understanding does not take place in the actual Arrow universe, but is part of the bigger DC multiverse. At least that's the way I'm understanding it, and that's the way I think it should be. Which means that they can easily cross over, because Supergirl is in a different universe. And we've established that there is a multiverse here, and what I really want to see at some point is, especially with the films that were announced, the DC slate of films, none of which had a dates, but DC said the Flash film was going to be called Flashpoint. So I want to see Flash running through the Speed Force and seeing glimpses of all of these different iterations of DC things. So just imagine this, and I think this would be so freaking cool. And you could do this on the TV series too. You have the Flash running through the Speed Force, and they did this kind of once where they showed little bubbles, clips, and they even showed the old 1990 John Wesley Shipp Flash TV series. But you have that, you have the CW Flash, you have Smallville, you see clips of, you see Black Lightning, you see the Dark Knight trilogy, Batman, a clip from there, you see a clip from Christopher Reeve's Superman, you see a clip from the Green Lantern movie, you see Tim Burton's Batman, and maybe, you couldn't probably do the animated, that would be too funky looking, But then you see the DCEU stuff. I think that would be fantastic. And that would be a great little nod of the hat to the fans to let them know, hey, this is one gigantic multiverse and we're all in the same thing. It would be really clever if they could somehow get a silhouetted Marvel characters to show up in a bubble, but that would probably cause problems. Anyway, the what they're doing on CW I think is fantastic, and I didn't even talk about iZombie because I haven't watched iZombie. I tried watching the first episode and I should love it considering Rob Thomas is behind it, and he was the creator and showrunner of one of my favorite shows of all time, Veronica Mars. But I just don't do the zombie thing, so I'll try it again sometime. But this looks fantastic, and I can't wait. I really can't wait to watch all of these shows. So it's going to be good, and that's not all DC has to offer for us. And finally, we have Lucifer and Gotham. Now, of all of these trailers, Lucifer is probably the one that showed the most of the upcoming season. This show is, admittedly, I've never read Lucifer comic. I know it is a spin-off of Hellblazer of Constantine, which was a show I freaking loved. And I read almost the entire New 52 run of Constantine, and definitely read all of Justice League Dark, and I loved them. This show has been so thoroughly entertaining. The guy who plays Lucifer, whose name I can't remember to save my life, owns that part, and I freaking love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. So it is something that is so fun and so just deliciously, I don't know, delightfully bad. Not as in bad as in... Well, let me put it this way. Lucifer is not a guy you want to emulate, though you find that he does have this moral compass, and he is, at the end of it, he is a good guy. So it's wonderful. And then we've got Gotham. And Gotham has turned into a great show. It was one that I kind of got behind on last season, and when I caught up, I was like, holy crap, this is freaking awesome. And loved everything I was seeing. They've done a really good job. And some people have thought, well, what the hell is Gotham without Batman? Well, when they first announced the show, I was like, oh, it's Smallville, but about Batman. And it works. They have created, I think, on screen, the best and most fully fleshed out Gotham City we have ever seen. The casting is brilliant. I almost feel bad for anyone who takes these parts in the films. It's so wonderfully good. And this next season, we're going to see, I think, Bruce transitioning more into a vigilante. And I can't say enough good things. I think the show is fantastic. So I thoroughly enjoy it. Now, there were other things that came out at Comic-Con. There's The Gifted, which is a show about X-Men. It's an X-Men related show. Legion's going to have season 2. Cloak and Dagger is coming out. There's going to be a Runaways show. Most of the stuff is Marvel related. I know that The Gifted had a trailer at Comic-Con, which I haven't seen. I'm not sure how many of these I'm going to follow. I'm curious about Cloak and Dagger and the Runaways, because since they are part of the greater Marvel Cinematic Universe, those are things I think I'm going to be interested in checking out. I'm kind of hit and miss with X-Men stuff. I really have enjoyed all of the X-Men films, probably because I'm not an X-Men fan in the comics, so I didn't have expectations. X-Men 3 didn't bother me. The first Wolverine movie, X-Men Origins Wolverine, the ending was stupid, but other than what they did to Deadpool, I thought that was a good film, all things considered. But that's because I don't have the, for lack of a better term, baggage or expectations of being an X-Men comics fan. I've read a few things. I read Days of Future Past. It was alright. I read the Wolverine series that Claremont did. That was the basis for the second Wolverine movie. Thoroughly enjoyed that. I don't know, it's something, I just have a hard time reading Marvel comics in general. I don't know what it is. I just do. But yeah, that was it for the stuff from Comic-Con. It obviously looked like it was a great time, and we've got lots of stuff to look forward to this coming season on both TV and in the movies. So I'm excited. I can't wait to see what happens, and it's going to be good times. This week I'm out of town visiting my folks down in Cape Coral, Florida, so of course I had to check out a local comic book store, and we headed over to Cool Comics and Games in Cape Coral. You can check them out on Facebook at facebook.com/Cool Comics and Games. It has a very nice little shop. They had all sorts of comics, gaming, the kind of thing that you find in comic book stores anymore. Lots of tabletop game stuff, lots of Magic the Gathering type of stuff, and a good selection of comics. So for this week's pull, obviously I don't have my normal subscriptions, but I looked around to try to see if there's anything that jumped out at me, and what did was this new Defenders series by Marvel. Now, I don't read a whole lot of Marvel comics. I love the Marvel movies, and I really love the Marvel Netflix TV shows. I'm looking forward to Defenders coming out in August. But this just jumped out at me. It has the team that is going to be on the Netflix series. So I picked up issues 1 through 3, which were the ones they had. I'm about halfway through issue 3, and so far this is really good. I'm adding this to my pull list when I get back home. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. It's written by Brian Michael Bendis, and the artwork is fantastic by a gentleman last name of Marquez. Probably butchered that, I'm sorry, sir. Don't actually have one of the issues open here, but it's a story. Diamondback has come back, and he is terrorizing Luke Cage, Daredevil, Iron Fist, and Jessica Jones. And issue 3 has some Punisher action, and so far it's really, really good. I'm looking forward to picking up the rest of the series. There are a few other comic book shops here in the area. For those unfamiliar, Cape Coral is part of the same kind of community area that Fort Myers, Florida is located in. Fort Myers has a couple of shops. I don't know if we're going to get to those or not before we head back home, but had to make one stop. And if you are in Cape Coral, Florida, I highly suggest checking out Cool Comics and Games. Anytime you're out of town, you should check out a comic book shop because they're awesome and they need our support. So that's going to do it for this episode of Destination Earth X. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at Target Earth X. We'll be back next week. Take care, guys.